Time for another board game review, and this time we have the game Sheepy Time. This was sent to me by AEG, and it's designed by Neil Kimball. You are the dream sheep, the sheep that people count in order to drift off to dreamland. Each time you jump the fence, you help everyone fall asleep easier, but beware the nightmares that haunt these dreams and threaten a rude awakening. Play your cards right, use your Z's on the sweetest dreams, and prove you are the dreamiest sheep of all. Let me show you how to play. Alright, Sheepy Time is played in two phases, the racing phase and the resting phase. In the racing phase, you play cards to move around the board and collect winks. In the resting phase, you add new dream tiles to the board like this one and prepare for the next round of racing. So, in the racing phase, you have cards. Each player draws 2 cards from the deck. Then on your turn, you choose one and resolve it. So let's say I go, I'm going to play this one. I can either move 5 spaces or gain 2 winks. Let's say I move 5 spaces. You play the card, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some cards will let you catch what are called Z's. So this one says move 3 spaces or catch 1 Z. If I decide to catch 1 Z, I place a Z token on any of the dream tiles on the board. So let's say I put one on this one where it says second wind. It says discard your hand, you may become brave. We'll get into what brave means later. If you land on a space that has a dream tile and it has one of your Z tokens on it, like let's say yellow player goes here, you can choose to remove this Z tile that you placed in order to activate the dream tile. In this case, you would discard your hand and become brave. Or you can choose not to. If you make it all the way around and jump the fence, you get what are called winks. So if we look over at the scoreboard here, yellow player jumped the fence, they get 5 winks. They can then decide if they want to call it a night and retire for the round or continue taking turns. Now, you can't hop over the fence backwards. You can't be like, oh, 10 winks, 15 winks, 20 winks. It's only when you go around it clockwise. And you can only call it a night as soon as you hop the fence. If you decide to keep going and change your mind, too bad. You got to make it all the way around again before you can call it a night. If you just played a regular turn or you're continuing to go, you just draw a card after you've played your card and moved and add it to your hand. The reason why you might want to call it a night is there is a nightmare that's in play. There are a couple different nightmares you can choose. The Nightmare Wolf, whenever you draw a card with the nightmare, the nightmare enters the board. So in this case, it moves 1 space onto the board. And if the nightmare moves again, like let's say I drew this card, moves 2 spaces, every space it walks through, all the sheep become scared and they go on their side. If the nightmare ever hits you again, let's say like the scared sheep landed here and then the nightmare hit them again while they were scared, then you are out of the round. You wake up and you bust. That's why this tile here would become handy, because a scared sheep, if the yellow lands on here and has a yellow token and spends it, they can become brave, which means they are back to normal. Now, if the nightmare makes it all the way around the board and hops the fence, everyone who's still in play immediately wakes up and busts. So there's this balancing game of, should I keep going for more winks? Or, uh-oh, I think the nightmare's gonna get me, or the nightmare's gonna jump the fence. I gotta hurry and escape. Now, the reason why you're racing in the first place is you're collecting these winks. Now, let me explain how winks work. Let's say during the game, yellow got 10 winks, pink got 7, purple got 5, blue got 2. Or actually, let's say that blue woke up. First off, after the round is done, you check to see if any person's tokens have intersected or passed their pillow token. In this case, no. Then you see who got first. In this case, it's yellow. Yellow gets to move their pillow token 10 spaces forward. Pink gets to move theirs 8 spaces forward. No, actually, right here. And purple gets to move theirs 6 spaces forward. Blue, because they woke up, any players that wake up, they only get to do 3. And this will also change depending on how many players you're playing with. You can play this even down to solo. So as you can see, now that their pillows are further, the yellow player is more likely to win as long as they can get up to that pillow in their round. Otherwise, you keep repeating racing phases. Then you see who has the highest pillow number. In this case, blue is behind, so they get to be the first player or first sheep for next round. But before we do the next racing phase, it's time for the resting phase. So if we move over here, each player has an option to do one of two things. They can add a new dream tile to the board or catch 2 Z's onto dream tiles. So blue player looks at the 4 tiles here on the dream market. Hide or seek. If the nightmare is on an odd numbered space, gain 2 winks, which are useful because, you know, those are points for the game. If it's on an even numbered space, move 2 spaces. Step back, move backward 1 space, you may become brave. Rush ahead, gain 1 wink, play the top card of the deck. Bounce ahead, move forward 1 space. Let's say blue player decides to take this one. What they do is they take it and they can put it into any of these slots. Let's say they put it right here. They can also take a Z token, but put it on the infinite side and put it in the corner here. That means from now on, whenever blue lands on here, they don't need to spend a Z token. They have a permanent one. Some other tiles might actually tell you to put 3 on instead, like this one. Shepherd the flock, move all sheep 1 space forward or backward because it's a little too powerful. In that case, you put 3 tokens on there. If all 10 slots are filled and or you don't want to do that, you can instead catch 2 Z's onto dream tiles. So maybe purple player decides, you know what I want to do? I actually just want to put 2 tokens. 1 on this one, 1 on this one. That's also an option you can do. Once each player has either added a tile or added Z tokens, then it's time for a new racing phase, but now you have all these new dream tiles in play. And that's the game. You keep racing around the track, trying to get as many winks as you can without busting. And once your token intersects with your pillow or passes it, you are the winner. And that's the game. So this game is really cute. I think the art is great. I think the overall package and presentation is super appealing. Even just a little touch with the wooden fence is fantastic. And what's nice is that there's actually a very fun, solid game packaged with it. I enjoy a good kind of push your luck game, and I love that this game is all about seeing if you can push yourself further and get more of those winks before busting. It's great. The most interesting mechanic to me and most satisfying is how, so with the pillow, it moves forward to make your victory easier. And actually, there's some dream tiles I didn't show that actually can give you push your pillow forward each time you land on them, which is really clever. So sometimes you got to consider, should I go for more winks and go for the first place, or should I try to go for permanent pillow pushing? You know, it's a lot of fun, and watching your token get closer and closer to the pillow is very satisfying. I also like that the board gets more complex as the game goes on, as people are adding more dream tiles, and the permanent Z's you can put on them feels very satisfying, as you have like almost like a permanent perk. You know, it's very nice. The nightmare cards can, you know, definitely feel a little out of your control. We've definitely had times where we drew like 3 in a row and you just kind of got screwed. But honestly, the game is so light and silly and fun that it didn't bother us at all. Like, it's that kind of game where it's just funny if that happens. I enjoyed watching my friends get destroyed by nightmares, and you know, overall, I think what works about this game is it's a really fun put your luck game. It's not too long. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like the perfect length. Looks great. And yeah, even if sometimes stuff gets out of your control, you just laugh and have a good time. I'm impressed that it manages to package a pretty smart, you know, some pretty smart ideas and thoughtful mechanics, and still be very cute and accessible for all ages. It's fun.